Hello, this is Raziel Cohen with ndftraining.com, and today we're looking at the BearFak medical kit from Refuge Medical. So now, what is this kit? What is this trauma kit? What is the value of you being able to have a kit like this? There are a lot of different kits that are available on the market. The question comes down to really the quality of the parts that they're giving you and for the cost that it comes down for those parts. So there might be kits you might be able to get for a very low cost, but some of the offerings of what they have in there might not be efficient for what you're trying to use, as well as also if they're trying to cut costs, they might not have the best quality equipment that you would want in a kit like that. So for example, something that I'll mention that I see in a lot of medical kits is like the SWAT T tourniquet, I believe it's called. And what it is it is an effective tourniquet. However, for self-application or for someone who might not be super knowledgeable or do a lot of training with their medical kit, that could end up being something that would be very difficult to apply, especially under stress. So having a medical kit that was thought through properly and was spoken to by other medical professionals to be able to put a kit together is something that's very important, and you really need to make sure to do your research before paying a lot of money for a quality medical kit. So who needs a medical kit? If you're someone who drives a car, if you're someone who works in a house of worship, if you're someone who does homesteading work or does any work around tools or equipment, a trauma kit is actually very valuable. Obviously, there's going to be the people who immediately think about a trauma kit and they think about gunshot wounds and stab wounds and stuff like that, which it absolutely has a lot of value to. But this is not just meant for a person who's dealing in high intensity environments, but also a regular person that lives a regular day life could unfortunately come to situations where they might need trauma equipment. So if you're someone who works around very serious construction sites, and it's possible for a person to be able to get impaled. If someone gets impaled, that's going to be a time where you might be able to use a chest seal, and that's not something that people think about, is that a lot of different environments outside of firearms only are able to have these kind of dangerous situations occur. So being able to have a proper trauma kit, I think, is very important. So we're going to do a tabletop overview of these parts, and I want to give you guys kind of an insight into regards to how they put this together, what their thought process was when they put this kit together, and how it might be valuable to you when you're coming to look for a really quality kit for things that might ultimately save your life. So here we are on the tabletop, and I want to give you guys a little bit more background in regards to this company and where this product is made and how it's like actually put together. So to my understanding, this is a small business. They're based out of Eastern Oklahoma. This product is fully made in America, and it was made and developed in conjunction with the US Special Forces. So there's a lot of people who have a lot of background who thought about what should go into this kit and how they can make it most effective. Something that they also not just preach about, but they're able to kind of show off, which I think is an amazing thing, is that they have over 43 lives that were saved in the past 3 years with just these kits, which I think is a very cool thing to be able to say. And it really comes to show you the importance of having medical equipment nearby. It might not be something often thought about, but I think it's actually very important. Something I personally like about this kit is that it is a beefy kit, but this is not meant to be something on your battle belt. This is a kit that you have with the medical stuff that you bring to the range with you, or you'd have in your car. It's a proper, really full kit. Something I saw, a part of the reason why I really like this kit is it is so tightly packed. It's so well packed. When I open it up, you're actually going to see that. But they put a lot of effort into really using up the most amount of space possible, while still being able to really fully load this thing with everything you might need. So I really think that's something that's very cool. They have like a full guaranteed forever kind of policy. So if you ever need it, if there's anything ever wrong with this kit, you could be able to reach out to them and they'll make sure to take care of that for you. And again, just having that kind of backing from a company, I think, is very important. So there's a lot that's actually in this kit. And I think something that's important to preface before I go too heavily into this is that I am not personally a medical professional. So what I'm going to be saying about this kit is going to be based on my limited knowledge in medical training. So it's important for you to be able to get proper training. And I believe Refuge Medical does offer training as well. It actually says medical training right over there, that if you're looking for a proper stop to bleed class or something that would be able to really get you to the next level, then these are definitely the people you'd want to check out. Besides, we're also offering a very quality kit. So let's open this up. Let's check it out. And I'll try to give you my very limited knowledge in medical equipment, but really show you what's included in a kit like this. So part of the way this kit was designed is that they made it in a way that your priorities are going to be available to you first. So I'm going to open it up now. You can see it's a very tightly packed, tightly fit kit. So there's this outer pouch, and then there's this tab that you could grab and then you pull it out. And this is going to be the main portion. So this bag is just like that. You can put this to the side. And then here's the main kit itself. You see it is opening. So it gives you an opening. So it's kind of a clamshell design where you have everything laid out in front of you. So it makes it, again, easier for you to figure out where things are. So being one of the first things, I just opened this kit, meaning I want to leave it the way it comes from the factory so you could see what it looks like. One thing that you might notice over here is that the tourniquet comes pre-staged. Now, what I mean pre-staged is you still need to take it out of this plastic for it to be able to be effective. But what I mean by pre-staged is some tourniquets might come with the timestamp over the other part of the tourniquet, and that's kind of one of those little things that even if a person takes it out, they might forget about. So it's definitely very important. So I'm going to remove the plastic from this tourniquet, and I believe that these tourniquets and a lot of this equipment comes from North American Rescue, which is a reputable brand when it comes to quality equipment. And you can see it is a proper cat tourniquet with all the information needed to show that it's legit. I believe this is actually a Gen 7 tourniquet. So again, really staying up to date in regards to what you'd want for quality equipment. So the tourniquets, I'm going to try to keep everything in the same place because I think it's really well done. Then they have tape that's over here. They have a permanent marker that comes along in the kit, as well as also gloves that are included right over there. And again, this is kind of one of those little things that not a lot of kits include, but it's very nice that they include a permanent marker, because some people might get a tourniquet, but they forget about the detail of how important a simple permanent marker could be. So having that included, I think, is very great. Then over here, we could pull this out. You see, it says North American Rescue right over there. This is the emergency trauma dressing. So this goes over a wound that you want to put pressure on, and that holds it in place. So that's very good. Again, I'm keeping it somewhat brief in regards to the uses for these equipment, because I really want to make sure that someone with a far larger amount of knowledge will be able to speak about it and not make me look really stupid over here. But over here we have a dedicated trauma pack. So this is actually kind of interesting. They do include a survival blanket. One thing that's able to happen to people after they lose a lot of blood, or if they're in shock, is that they could get very cold. So having a trauma blanket is actually quite important. So let's open up this bag right over here. So we have some H&H compressed gauze. This could also be great for being able to pack a wound. We have a survival blanket. So that's what we just mentioned before. Opening up more, we have right over here a triangular bandage. This could be good for creating a sling for someone's arm if they have kind of a sprain or a break. Then this is more of a gauze. I believe this is actually for eye patches to be able to cover up an eye. Then over here, we have more gauze sponges. Abdominal pad, that's actually also something that's very awesome that they included, specifically for your abdominal. Then we have some antiseptic towelettes, and included more gauze, and more gauze. Again, you really can't get enough gauze when it comes to trauma kits. You might need a lot of that. So having a lot of it and different types, I think is actually very valuable. So there are different types. They do serve different purposes, and that might be something to look into as well. This is also a polycarbonate eye shield. So this goes over someone's eye, depending on the injury that they might have. There's also an entire roll, not entire roll, but a compacted roll of duct tape, which I think is also very good, because everyone knows that you could use duct tape in many different ways. So having that included in the kit is very good. I'm gonna clean this up, and we're gonna move to the next section. Continuing along, when you go past this section over here, there's actually another opening that gives you access to more equipment. So right over here, we have a proper set of medical shears. There's a certain sound that you could literally hear when it comes to quality shears. I'm gonna put it next to my microphone if you could see if you could hear it. These cut really, really nicely. I have this really cheap version that's really, really not as good. And if I put that next to the microphone, I'm gonna do side by side. So this is the cheap pair of scissors over here. And then here is the better pair of scissors. You really could hear a difference when it comes to quality of having a proper set of medical shears. Medical shears, as you might know, this is meant to remove clothing and also not be able to cut the person accidentally. There's kind of that tab right over there that really makes sure that it goes underneath the clothing without hurting the person. So having a proper set of medical shears is great. Don't use something cheap like this. I use this kind of for just general use things, but having a proper set for serious use, I think is very important. So I'll put that right over there. Then we're gonna pull out this whole section over here. There are more abdominal pads, which again, I think is great that you have a lot of options over there. This is an NPA. This goes down a person's nose, and this is a number 28 as well. It also comes with a little bit of lubricant, which again, some kits don't come with that, and it makes me a little bit uncomfortable that if you ended up needing to be able to use it, having to just kind of shove it down someone's nose is probably not ideal. So having a proper NPA as well as lubricant that comes along in the kit is definitely nice. And then for the bigger stuff over here, we actually have the hyphen vent chest seals, and it comes in a dual pack. So this is actually very important because it's able to stop anything with gunshot wounds or penetrations to a person's lungs. So this is able to cover it. And the main thing about it is that since it's vented, it's able to help with the collapsing lungs, I believe. Again, I'm not a medical professional. I'm just speaking based on the limited amount that I know. But having it being able to be vented is a very valuable thing. So having a vented chest seal is great. And the last thing that's over here is also a burn wrap. So for a person who has serious burns, being able to wrap it up and be able to hold it down until you're able to get further medical attention, I think is great as well. Something I forgot to add in as well is that this does come in the kit. This is Quick Clot. Something that's very cool to know about this is that this is something that when it's put on in a person's wound, it's able to help the blood clot faster. So it helps stop with heavy bleeding. This is something that I know to some people might be debated as in being able to use, but it's something that's actually very valuable to be able to stop heavy bleeding. If you really have a person who's heavy bleeding, stuffing this is even better than regular gauze, which again, they include regular gauze in the kit. But if you want to stop heavy bleeding very quickly, this is an awesome product as well to be able to have in the kit. So kind of as an overview, as I'm putting these things away and kind of reorganizing where things were, having a very proper medical kit like this, I think is very valuable. Again, it might not be something you ever use, but knowing that you have a very proper medical kit like this to be able to use in a very serious situation, I think is great. And I'm going to have to rewatch the video of how I took this apart because the way they put this together was really well done, and there was clearly method to the madness in being able to do this. So when you get your kit, if you're going to go through it, which I really, really highly recommend you go through it, you should be able to know exactly what's in it and where things are located for yourself. And again, they do offer training when it comes to being able to use medical equipment. So that's something I'd recommend for you as well, to really make sure that you're not just having the medical equipment there, but knowing how to use it and when to use what is very important. This is going to obviously be similar to you purchasing a firearm and then just shoving under your bed and then hoping that if God forbid something were to happen, you just assume that you know how to use it. So really making sure that you have proper medical equipment as well as also proper training for the medical equipment that you're using is very important, because then again, you're just spending a lot of high quality money on very high quality components, but then not being able to know how to use them. So you can see I'm struggling with this because they really, really pack it up well and they really put in the time and effort to make sure it was done properly. So as I finish shoving this in, I'm going to make sure the tab is exposed. You want to make sure this tab is still exposed for you. And then the trick here is that you want to have it unwrapped like that, so you can just kind of fold it over and then it fits very, very well. And I really, really like how compact they made this, and you can really add any patch that you want there. If you're looking, by the way, for the individual sizing of this kit is 6 inches by 7.5 inches by 2.5 inches. Now the molly field on the back, which is this section right over here, is 4 by 5. So it really gives you a lot of options. You could also see that it does come with clips right over here that you could use to attach any of the equipment you might want to strap it to. And again, this might be something that a lot of people might use to strap to the back of your, it's called your head, the back of your head protection of your seat. Being able to have this right behind your head might be valuable, so you could grab it in case of an accident, something along those lines. And again, being able to have something like this in your car, at the range, or just for general use, especially if you're also working in any house of worship, having a proper medical kit I think is vital and is really not something that should be overlooked. If you have any other additional questions on this kit, if you want to be able to reach out to them to ask any more questions, you can reach out to them on their website, and I'm sure they'll be able to get back to you. A really, really nice set of guys who will be able to, it was very nice of them for them to be able to send this out to me, which I really do appreciate. If you have any questions on this, if you have any questions for the company that you'd like me to ask and maybe clarify some information, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to get back to you on that. This is Raziel Cohen with ndftraining.com. Thank you for watching.